Hey guys, what's going on? Evo here, bringing you more Clash Royale. Now, the last video was how to play the mortar strategy. This video is going to be how to counter the mortar strategy. Because I ran into a deck, I believe it was today, that absolutely countered the crap out of me. So I'm going to show you that replay, and I'll show you the deck that this guy was using to just absolutely destroy the mortar strategy. So I'm not going to do a step-by-step, play-by-play, whatever. You can watch it for yourself what happens, but I'm just going to explain just the overall counter strategy for the mortars. So number one, it's defense towers. If you have at least 3 defensive towers or 3, buildings or whatever you want to call them, it's going to counter a mortar straight up. So, as you can keep cycling them. So you're always going to have a tower up and be able to place it. So that just absolutely counters the mortar, because it's not able to directly attack your towers. Number 2, you can either do minions. Minions counter the mortar extremely well, either the horde or the regular minions. Granted, most of the mortar players will have the arrows, but by the time they get the arrows off, the mortar's already dead, most of the time. So, and then, of course, last but not least is, if you're going to make a deck around the mortars, you have to have a win condition. There's got to be that win condition that will make the deck just able to win, even if you're not playing a mortar deck, or playing against a mortar deck. You got to have a win condition so you can win against other decks in the meta, because if you're playing just straight up this deck that this guy's using, you're not going to win against any of the other meta decks. The deck he was using would absolutely get destroyed by a P.E.K.K.A freeze or a Hog freeze. It would just get annihilated. So just make sure that you have that win condition. So in this standpoint, I would probably suggest either switching out the zap, because it's really not as good as everybody says it is, and I would probably put in a freeze, because freeze is quite OP. So the freeze plus the hog plus the goblins is a pretty good counter, or freeze plus minions. So those are the 3 ways that you're going to be able to counter these abundance of mortar decks that you see. Of course, I still play one, because this deck is very, very uncommon, and you don't see many of them. Because, again, the meta is full of freeze. A freeze hog, freeze P.E.K.K.A, all that stuff. It's just full of it. So this was kind of a rare circumstance, but if you do find yourself running into... because I know a lot of people in the Royale arena, they do tend to play the mortar deck, and a lot of them do. So you might be running into the mortar more often than someone, because a lot of legendary players don't play the mortar deck. There's only a select few that actually do. You're going to see just, most of it is P.E.K.K.A and Hog Freeze, or P.E.K.K.A Freeze, Hog Freeze. So in order to counter this deck, like I said, you're gonna want to have a lot of towers. Be number 1. Just reiterating here. Number 1, a lot of towers. Number 2, you're gonna want to have. I don't even remember what I said for number 2, but win condition is important. I know that was one of the things I said, and then I see he's gonna beat me here. He just completely countered me. So you want to have the towers, the win condition, and just something to distract the mortar, if you will. I honestly don't remember what I said the second thing is, so just do what I said second, because all I remember is the towers and the win condition. I have a terrible memory. But if you do those 2 things, then you should be golden against the mortars if you're seeing an abundance of them. So that's going to do it for this video. I am going to upload another video on how to counter, not necessarily counter, but play against the freeze correctly, or play around a freeze. And I know a lot of people run into freeze decks as well, because that's pretty much the meta. So stay tuned for that video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys next time.